Welcome to In the Know with Steph and Joe. In the Know with Steph and Joe, your small business development show here, 21.6, and of course, with Steph and Joe, thus the name, In the Know. Of course, brought to you through our good friends over at Steph's Bookkeeping and Restoration One of Cary. Today, marketing gone wrong. Welcome.
Who markets wrong? That's like unheard of. Who actually markets wrong? How can you market wrong?
That is something.
Is it something like, what are we talking? Small marketing wrong? Like I go and like literally print a keychain and it's got my wrong phone number on it. Oh, I put a truck wrap on my very first truck and they put my cell phone number on the side of my truck.
That would have been marketing gone right.
Marketing gone fucking sorry.
What was
so
that
wrong? Such a simple, small
I don't believe
marketing.
You. Do you remember
gone.
that number?
Was it like isn't it like close to your office number anyways?
No, my phone number is from Michigan. Area code is in Michigan, and this one's out of McHenry County, our landline. So they literally printed my cell phone number on the side, and it's not like such a big thing. It's such a small thing because if somebody calls me, they still get to me.
Right.
Right.
I enjoy you guys actually coming. Is this your summer home, Steph?
Yeah, we're on Beaver Island.
This is out on Beaver.
Yeah, look at the grand piano behind me. I can't believe they got a grand piano on to Beaver Island.
On the Beaver Island.
They had to fly it on the plane.
They had to build it there.
But it's just
piece it together.
I feel like every business owner or marketing person that's ordered some type of swag or something, they've had situations and not realized it when it's gone out. Like there was a set of pens that I ordered, and I am 99% sure I put the right information on it, but my web address was missing one letter.
W.
No.
W got.
But so like it was just like that one little thing, and you're like, dang it! Now I have like these 200 pens,
7,000 materials that I can't get rid of.
Now they're just in office pens because you can't give them out, and then or like you've ordered stuff and other people have messed up. Where like I ordered golf tees, but I ordered them in blue to match my company color, and they came green, and like. Mostly everybody that looks at them is like, oh, it's a big deal. Like nobody's really,
whatever.
But it matters to me because that's
good point.
That's not what I ordered.
So in the beginning, I just got a pen from Scotland. Big shout out, Scotland, our buddy. He.
I thought you meant the country.
Oh, good one. Click. Did you see it? File in there. Yeah. All right. So Scotland, he got these pens and he hands me one. And I go, great. And I look at it and I'm reading it and I go, and I start like getting it closer to my eyes going, I can't freaking read your phone number, your address, your email address, your anything, right? Because he put it on this website and the website printed it, but it didn't give him an accurate sizing of, right? Yeah. So like small little faux pas.
Yeah. Or like when I ordered my tent, it was my fault because I approved it, but the middle two digits of the phone number were transposed and I didn't catch it. And then
that's dyslexia.
So then I had to order a whole new. Well, then I tried to see if my website company could get that phone number, like as a backup phone number,
baller move.
So
that's a good point.
We tried to do that, but they couldn't. So then we had to remake the tent.
So if you fuck up, what's the chances that you could take that fuck up and make it a benefit, right? Like, you tried to.
Yeah. Because I'm cheap.
Buy that phone number, which is really, you say, a lot of people may think like, oh God, that's crazy. Why are you trying to buy a phone number when you could just redo a tent? But you're like, no, buying a phone number is really cheap.
Right. It's way cheaper than me having to remake the tent top.
100%. So I love that idea of like, no, let me just go buy that phone number and overlook this mistake with another little purchase to make it up. Yeah. I like that. Ooh, wow. So we're starting with the small stuff right now.
Or we have so I've done where like the play on words, I feel like sometimes has gotten me in trouble with some of my marketing. You know,
Steph's tips.
Right. So we had the Steph's tips for a little while, but we did like at one of the golf outings a couple years ago, I did lays. I did a Hawaiian theme hole, and
We'll
I did
lay
lays.
you.
And I was like, come get laid by Steph at hole whatever we were at that year. And then, you know, like people inside were like joking around at the end of it, was like, oh, I got laid by Steph, best hole of the night of the day and whatever. Like, and then by that point in time, Rich was there, and we know like he doesn't think anything's funny. So
he didn't appreciate that, but did everybody else?
Well, I mean, yeah, we all thought it was funny, but then it was kind of like, you know, it's just like those weird little things where you have, like, we were talking in the green room the other day, like Christine Ditzler's tagline, if you need to clean the scene, call Christine. Yeah. And like, it could go so many different ways given your industry.
Right. And
100%.
And mine is, I put a happy ending in lending.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yeah, right.
So wait, how much? So now we're getting into the little bit, you know, we're climbing up the bell curve.
But is it really though marketing gone wrong though at that point when people are like kind of talking about the tagline and it's memorable? Like nobody that I know in the local area ever forgets Christine's tagline. No. Everybody knows. So my question
to you then would be, do you feel that negative
marketing,
not negative marketing, but negative responses to your marketing are bad, right? Like if you send out a marketing campaign and somebody negatively replies to it, is that bad?
I
don't think so.
I think it's, I mean, like, so for example, when we first opened up Steph's Books, I created these little postcard flyer things, and we sent them out to a bunch of business owners and whatever, and we did a mailer. And then somebody that does marketing called me and was like, hey, I got your flyer. And I was like, oh, cool. But then they're like, well, just so you know, like the graphics and the things that you picked, I wasn't sure that you were an accounting firm. It looked more like a grand opening for a hair salon because of the graphic that I had picked. So it was just a constructive feedback. Like it was a negative, but it gave me some insight on, you know, next time what not to do. Like maybe put a calculator or a box, like a shoe box or something on there where
a little more like along the lines of your industry, right? Less, you know, trying to like,
because I did it like a ribbon. Well, I did it like a ribbon cutting because it was like a grand opening, but they said it made them think of like a hair salon.
So the way that I would answer that, and I'm not a marketer per se.
Yeah, you are.
And marketing gone wrong is when it costs you money, right? Because you always have an ROI in mind. Is that fair? And if all of a sudden it costs me money, and I don't even get close to that ROI, then I would guess.
Hi, Christine.
I would guess, yeah. Then that's gone wrong.
Hi,
so
Christine.
what's costing you money?
Been ringing.
No, yeah, literally. What costs you money in your eyes on that? Because let's dive into that. Your ROI is I have to invest said expenses. Let's say to keep nice round numbers, it's $100. It is you losing money, meaning I spent $100 and I didn't get $100.
Yeah. So if my ROI is that, if I want to break even, or let's say I'm spending $100 and I want to make $200 with this marketing, whatever.
Let's hope that your goal is a lot higher than 200 if you're spending 100, but for the sake of revenue.
Right. Yeah. So I would say that if I didn't make my 100 back, then I have failed. That marketing,
you lost
that money went wrong. Right? That marketing went wrong.
Worst case scenario, you do not recoup your expenses.
Correct.
Right? So that is, I think, what we can all.
So then what are we? So then we're saying that swag falls under branding
and
not marketing.
No, that's expenses. Well, hang on.
Because like when I give out the golf tees, I mean, they're going to break or get lost in someone's golf bag faster than they're going to call me.
Right, but you're still handing out
like it doesn't have my phone number on it; just has my logo on it because they're like
right. But when you do that, are you expecting to earn business from the golf tee?
From the golf tee? No. But
Yeah,
like
so
if I
then-
like
From
leave,
the event.
So then now I would say that's
Yeah.
branding.
yeah. Okay.
100%. Now, for me though, I look at this as, I'm going into this one event.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to create this marketing campaign for this one event, whether it be a golf outing. And this
Sounds
one event could be all my golf outings for the year that I go and attend, right? I'm planning to do sponsor 4 holes in 4 golf outings, right? So like a hole of golf outing, right? That's 4 events throughout the year. I'm planning to buy tees for all 4 events. I split the cost. I go out there, I lay it all out on the line. Those golf tees, yes, I'm associating with that one event or those 4 events, because I would not have gone and bought those for anything else.
I don't know. I don't go into those type of events with the anticipation of closing deals. I just go into those type of events with the hope and anticipation
You
to
don't get
keep
pissed off.
like, yeah, I have a bad track record at golf outings, but like, as long as I can, you know, as long as I can get my name out there and people start remembering my name and I meet people
Branding.
and I do it for that. If I was going to host an event like a lunch and learn and I marketed the lunch and learn, I expect to close deals from that because I feel like I'm specifically showing the value of my service to a room of people that I spent money to either rent a room or supply snacks or this or that. Like I expect at the end of the presentation, you to be like, oh, well, she knows what she's talking about. Let me
give her
some
business.
Right.
Right. So let's say the lunch and learn, we then substitute the teas with the sandwiches. Right. You now have bought sandwiches specifically for this event.
Yeah. So I would look at that as a marketing event and its whole entirety with all the money that I spend is for that marketing event. And I'm saying that golf outings, I look at more as a branding, getting to know you, like let's keep in touch kind of thing, because you get like 30 seconds to pitch somebody and give them a shot of booze and then they're off. You know, like we need to like chit chat later kind of thing.
But in the sake of this show, do you feel that shot of booze and that cost of booze and the cost of teas for these several golf outings that you sponsor, do you feel that cost could have any negative effect, or what's the chances of a negative effect on you versus something else that you could be doing, right? Like,
well, I think if I'm investing
what could be
too
negative
much
marketing, what could make this tea sponsorship negative marketing?
So if I'm investing too much money of my budget into the branding aspect of my annual budget versus the active marketing that I expect to get a return on, then I feel like that's when you start running into the negative problems and the negative situations. And it's not necessarily at that point marketing gone wrong. It's your, you know, I guess your planning and budgeting gone wrong at that point, because I only invest.
How do you know though?
Well, we invest a smaller, so we have an annual budget for any type of advertising. So that would be anything that we do with our website, our apparel, our swag, our branding, our marketing. We have a budget, and each sector of that gets a percentage of the budget. But our active marketing gets the highest chunk of the budget because that's what I'm expecting to produce.
Actually make money.
You know, my widgets.
Create an ROI.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then the branding stuff, some of it I do is just feel good stuff. Like donating stuff like to
that's philanthropy.
You know? But I'm just saying, like me doing for the kids in need of McHenry County and doing the candy cane reindeers and stuff, that's a branding thing. Like I do it, I donate it, I post it on my site. People like seeing that I give back to the local community. Like some people call for it, you know, whatever. So that's like a smaller chunk of it. So I think that there's a difference between it. Like I think that there's like 3 or 4 different branches that your marketing budget or advertising budget can go into. And you just have to make sure that the money making or the ones that you expect to get a return on, like those ones are done properly. because otherwise,
well, devil's advocate, I expect to make money on all my money going out.
well, that's not reality, Joe.
It is. Branding should make you money. You can't tell me that the Nike swoosh doesn't make money. That's branding. You can't tell me the McDonald's arches don't make money.
How do you measure the return on your branding versus the return on your marketing? Like, how do you internally measure that?
Like, I'm just telling you that it's saying, internally. Like everything is immediate.
Right, like everybody knows the Nike swoosh, just like everybody locally, like I said, knows Christine's tagline. So like, right. So everybody knows it. They know that, then they associate her with Restoration One, and then, blah, 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 blah. So, but how many people in an emergency situation are going to be like, oh, I thought of Christine's tagline and now I called you? Like, how do you measure that?
Like, to be honest, when you're a small business, it's easier because you get somebody.
Do you measure that? Like,
when somebody calls and says, yeah, I heard Christine say, when you got a scene, call Christine. So I called Christine.
You need to say it right.
We would write it down. I mean, we write those things down. How do you track your incoming jobs? You ask them.
I ask them where.
Well, we got a question. Christine says we ask. Yeah. Yep. See, thank you, Christine. Yeah.
But I don't know. I just feel like the branding thing is a little bit more difficult to track versus like
100%.
So like when people comes through on like our contact form or our pricing calculator, I could immediately see the difference. Like I could see what website they were on, like if they were on, or not website, web browser they were on. And I could see if they did a paid per click thing or if they did a organic search. And then like from there, I can ask them deeper dive, like, hey, what brought you to our website? Blah, 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 blah. But I don't know, like when I had my car wrapped, like people be like, oh, I saw your car, but then I also Googled you, but then I also somebody recommended you. Like it's just what I was going to get into is like, then.
Yeah, great. They call you on the website because they heard of you some other way.
Right.
And then so our biggest thing is trying to ask, but you can't track it. Branding is branding, right? Like they hear of you. Branding is kind of to me like, you have to spend X amount of time branding, knowing that it's not traceable ROI.
Right.
Right. You cannot trace it back to you.
Right. So that's why we allocate a smaller financial budget to that sector. We don't equally divide the budget.
But what do you attribute to branding? Is your car wraps branding?
Yes.
Yes. All your sweaters and swag? That you wear, branding. Interesting. So all of that money goes into branding, and then when you get a job and they say, hey, heard of you guys, whatever, do you associate that to branding? Or if they don't give you anything, like what?
Oh, if they don't give us like
any type of information on where they heard from you, they just go, oh, I heard of you. You guys are out and about. I see you everywhere. Yeah,
no,
right. Like
usually they give credit to whoever referred them. When I'm dealing with B2B, they understand the value of that. So it's like a little bit different than being a B2C person.
Yeah, no, we've heard, oh, I see you guys everywhere.
Yeah. Like they're like,
what's I see you everywhere mean? Where'd you see me?
Everywhere.
What does everywhere mean? Right. Like, so how do you trace that back to your branding versus your I don't. That's why I'm asking you.
Yeah. I mean, we don't track our branding. I only track like any active campaigns that we have. Like, I mean, like if people say like, oh, I saw your car and that's why I called you, then yes, we have in our drop down in our CRM, we have that listed. And then we have a bunch of CPA firms listed. We have a bunch of like, we have all these different things. We have chambers of commerce we're part of. Like we have all these different things to try and get as accurate of an idea as we can. So this way we know like, hey, this percentage of our leads is coming from this versus our Google campaign. You know, like we need to make sure that since we invest so much money in that Google campaign, we need to make sure that that's producing. Compared to
not
like referrals that we get that are like not free but kind of free.
Well, they're essentially time equals money, right? Like you spend time,
I mean, like
and that referral gives you it may be free in the sense that you didn't actually put $1 down,
right?
But you still get money out of it, and it's still a referral. But you took time to generate that referral.
Right.
What constitutes negative or bad marketing campaign to you?
I think that when anybody puts their own personal beliefs in the marketing campaign, it's a turnoff for me to want to work with them. Like when people
even if you agree with the personal beliefs?
Yes.
100%.
Like I just think it's just not appropriate. Like there's
feelings. Is it just feelings in it?
No, but I mean like when people post like their like own like political beliefs or their like bedtime beliefs or whatever, like
come again,
like, you know, they're like when people put that and they put it out there, I feel like it just like I don't want to know any of it. Like it doesn't matter to me. Like like that's not the service you're selling. If I wanted to talk politics and I wanted you to sell me on a politician, I would go to that campaign. Then
I would be like, paying attention to that, and I would actually bring that up to you.
Like if I'm going to like be selling bookkeeping services, nobody really cares. Like if I'm red or blue, like it doesn't matter to the deliverable that I produce.
I love that. I love that point. Well, it kind of does actually, but
nothing about bookkeeping is political at all. It's just facts.
Numbers are numbers.
I mean,
like so if I'm a Democrat, you think I would do my bookkeeping different than versus if I was a Republican?
I mean,
no.
You might be.
It's all the same.
I might want you to vote differently. I might want you to vote differently. I'm just saying that, like, you know, people can look at this shit. I hear people argue every way on that argument. I just don't feel like it brings any value to that particular service that I'm offering. So it doesn't matter that you know that about me. I agree. I just think that it matters when it comes to your clients sometimes to know that about you, because I've had some people, nobody's ever not my clients, but like I've had some people that actually look at me and say, you know, oh, you feel whatever, left, right. And I go, nope, not okay. And I never hear from them again. Nope. So to me, yes, there is a factor, whether or not. It's a topic I won't even talk about. Like if any client brings it up. That's what I'm saying though. But right, but if they bring it up, like I don't talk about it. Like it's not part of the services that we offer. It's not a conversation. My hourly rate is very expensive. So I don't know if you want to sit there and talk to me about that and pay me. Same thing I feel is like you and I have never talked politics truly, right? Like we just don't do that. So same thing I feel is like our company doesn't go down that route, but I will argue that some people truly care what your politics are for them to do business with you. You say that, and it only applies to small business owners. It doesn't apply to the giant corporations that they continue to shop at outside of that sector. So I don't think it matters. Fair enough. Like it can't matter, because if you're going to be a small percent, like if you're going to like drill me as a small business owner and try and learn that personal stuff about me, but you're not going to call Sam Walton's family and find out their perspective on things, but you're going to continue to shop at Walmart, like no, ma'am.
No, but they will take the change and donate it for a big tax write-off.
Well,
you know, you want to just want to take that loose change and donate it to the kids world of kids.
Yes,
world?
I will. Can you give me a receipt for that?
We can't do that. We'll get a big one though.
You had a question over there. Commentary. Lost it.
Well, yeah. So we got a call from a company that wanted to do some advertising with us here. And that's the first question they ask. Well, which way you? And I go, well, thanks for being a great fan of my station, because we don't do politics or news. So if you're looking for a platform for your side, then we're not going to do business with you. And I never heard from them again.
Yeah.
Right. Do you feel that being a filter in the forefront is much easier for you to combat issues in the backside when it comes to things like people trying to go down and take your money and market for you, right? Like there's so many avenues of marketing and branding and whatever so many, as a business owner, right? We get pelted every day, like little floppy somethings on your face all day long of people trying to market to me, saying, let me take your money and I'm going to make you money. Your ROI is going to be amazing with me. And I go, God, heard that story so many times. What filters do you guys take when all this plethora of shafts and whatnot are hitting yourself throughout the day? Well, I just want to bring everybody's attention to the fact that we're all, as business owners, getting hit daily with marketing schemes. And I say schemes, but it may actually be a legit thing. I'm turning them all away, even though something may be a really good way to market. It's still hitting me. I got a call today and I'm like, I don't fucking want to deal with you. I'm doing something else. Just leave me alone.
You're like, I have people for that. Call my people.
I like call somebody else.
How did you get this number?
So what's your filter? That's my question, is what's your filter on this kind of thing? Because
I pretty much say no to everything.
Unless
if we have a pre-scheduled call, then fine. But like, I will more often than not just say no to everything, to the cold calls, because I'm just in the middle of stuff.
I love that.
But your marketing people are out in Pennsylvania or something, right? I mean,
the website people, yeah, they're
right?
based in Pennsylvania, and they don't deal with me; they deal with Rich.
So you didn't say no at some point, because this isn't somebody that you know,
company
like, or trust.
This company came as a referral from a current client of mine. So that's how we wound up switching from our previous marketing company to this one. And we've had more measurable success with this one.
And that's not to say
one.
your current
this
marketing
one
company
a little more like Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. And they also had, it was just a bigger company, and they had like individual teams that specialized in certain industries. So like B2B or professional services, or hi mom, or
hi mom,
you know, like
hello, Linda.
Like contractors and construction. So who I deal with is not the same rep and person that's writing the campaigns for my client who's in the construction space.
Right.
So like, I liked that it was a more catered personal experience, and it wasn't just one person trying to cater to like 17 industries. So I feel like, you know, like that kind of plays like a factor of that in there as
well. Now, you still could, though, they do all your internet, all your whatever, you still could get a call from somebody that says, hey, I got this billboard that I want to sell to you, or I got these t-shirts, right? But like, that's what I'm saying, is like, still, like, I turn all those down. I just go, no.
I say, like, I got a guy, except for this one company that calls me.
I got a guy for everything. You're right. But like this one company that calls me, they always start off with, you know, I got a dirty joke. Can I tell you my dirty joke and then tell you my item on sale? And me being curious of what the joke is, I will say, fine, you can tell me your dirty joke and then pitch your item, because I just want to know what the joke is, because I might steal it and use it later. Who calls you and does that?
It's the place where I got those screwdriver pens.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And then my color changing cups. So like, they write the funny things on there, like the screwdriver pens that say like, call us or screw it up yourself. So they put like,
I love that,
funny little things on there.
So you pay attention to those because they caught your attention.
Yeah. But but usually every other time I just say no thank you, or I got somebody or whatever. Like Tom does my shirts, he did my tent, he did my koozies. Like I'm pretty well like koozies.
Oh, koozie.
But I'm pretty well, like, you know, committed to him. But I feel like, so we're coming.
Don't tell Rich that.
Yeah, he won't find that funny.
You know, but
you know.
But yeah, so I feel like we've all been kind of dancing around the big tickets marketing
the worst marketing
that happened
ever.
But I guess we should just disclaimer it, like the same thing that we said in the green room. It's not the campaign, it's the message that they just didn't execute their 100% message properly. It's not the content of the campaign that we found caused the fail. It was the message that was delivered.
I will say I support LGBTQ 100%, whatever everybody wants to call themselves. I don't know. I don't care.
And this is top. I mean, this is a current event. So this is
that's
like
it.
we're
That's
clearly
Like,
talking about the Bud Light
this is
thing.
bridging
Other people.
This is bridging
civil tension.
bridging civil tension right here as well. We should have had him in right now.
Phil?
Both of you guys. But literally, I support 100% LGBTQ plus whatever they have to say, right? Like I support it 100%. To me, it's the way the message was portrayed. It's the marketing of the message.
The strategy was not good.
It was executed horribly.
Right. But I just feel like they just didn't really cater to their demographic. Like they've consistently catered to their demographic for I don't know how many years Budweiser has been around, but I know it's a long time.
And literally took almost 100% 180 with zero information on why, who, what, where, when, why, how they're taking that 180, right? Like they literally took a 180 in who their demographic was.
Right. Like I get trying to branch into new things and trying to be like appealing to the masses and everything like that, but there's certain items out there that are for sale that just are going to appeal more to one.
Make a transition. If you're gonna do it, I don't mind being you pushing yourself towards any demographic. It's just if you have, like you said, if you're going one way and then all of a sudden the next day you're over here, just make a transition.
Yeah, put your blinker on.
Put your blinker.
Now I've got a couple of years on both of you, and
do you
growing up, Bud Light sold a lot of beer with a dog, Spuds McKenzie. If you remember.
Oh yeah.
And they've held the number one beer sales in America for years, decades, maybe. I mean,
100%. Right? Yes,
I remember, going by the Budweiser, where they distributor, getting stickers and putting it on my, book covers, and it was cool back in the day.
Really?
Right? Oh yeah, yeah. And then I understand the intent of what they did. Right now, I support all non-assholes. I just want to put that out there. If you're a good person, I don't care if you're a unicorn. If you're an asshole, I don't want nothing to do with you, right? That's just the way I was raised.
That's the
Is that fair to say?
That's the door tag to one of our bathrooms in the shop. It says men's, women's, aliens, Spartacus, dogs, whatever. Don't matter. Just wash your hands.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like I don't care what you are.
And people know me. I love and support everybody as long as you're not an asshole.
100%.
There we go.
100%.
So I appreciate, that's why I appreciate what Budweiser and Anheuser-Busch decided to do this. But I don't ever remember anybody's face being on a Budweiser can or a Bud Light can.
It was always animals because you had like the dog, the horses, the frogs, the gator with the Coors.
No, there was the scream guy.
But he wasn't on the can.
Okay.
Right? So it wasn't like a box of Wheaties, right? We know Wheaties has champions on there.
Right.
I get what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I think the shock
there was no spokesperson.
Yes. So I think the shock was, whoa, there's a face on my can. Right?
That is not what I agree with.
Well, I do, because if I don't agree with that lifestyle, then let's be honest. If you picture Bud Light drinking people, you're picturing, I'm going to get razzed because I'm drinking, Mulvaney. Is that the name?
Whatever it was.
Yeah.
Whatever it was, we're not going there, but yes. I mean, to me.
Yeah. Dylan Mulvaney. Yeah.
To me, it's just a matter of like, okay, if you're going to go down this route, let's shift gears a bit. If you're going to go down this route and you're going to invest in such a big change, such a big marketing difference, right? If you're going to go down that route, how important is it for that execution to make it a successful campaign? Meaning, if you're going to go and completely change what you do, are you really going to spend that much time changing everything you do in the backstory, right? Like, is it really that important to you? Because if you're going to make this big of a shift, are you going to make that big of a shift on the back end? Or is it just the front end?
Right. Now, what their marketing strategy has always been is the Super Bowl. This is when new Bud Light commercials have come out. Right.
But not new Bud Light campaigns, meaning we're not going and shifting our complete campaign needle direction.
Well,
right. They're bringing out new commercials.
Right.
But it's not a new, direction of company. And
it hurt them. It hurt them tremendously.
And that's the risk versus reward. Right. Like, what's the risk versus reward in spending this much time and effort? Would you spend that much time and effort into creating a new campaign or completely shifting your company's political or public viewpoint would you spend that much time and effort without kind of slowly progressing it out first? So that way it's not such like a wham and everybody gets slapped in the face while they're watching. There's, 40 million people watching over Super Bowl. Like, that to me is such a bad marketing. It wasn't the message. It's the way it was rolled out.
Right.
Like, I feel like it could go like sometimes, like, I get the whole big risk, big reward and all of that. But I feel like certain things, like numbers should have been crunched a little bit more, or they should have done one of those, like back in the, I don't know if they still do them, but there was like a place that would call you and tell you like, oh, come and see this new like bottle design we have for Dove soap and whatever. And we'll pay you $20 to come and talk about it and tell us what you like and don't like. Like, I feel like they should have done like, what is that called? Like a
market
focus
research.
Beta group.
Like,
a beta
should have
group,
done,
right? Yeah.
If you're
Run
gonna
a beta
do like
test.
a very big change in your design or your campaign or something like that, they should have done like a little bit of a focus group and then like
beta
got a little
testing.
bit of
they call it
like
beta
a little
testing.
feedback, but like people that are actually their demographic, like you need to have been using their product for longer than like 5 years or something. You know what I mean? Like,
I've met people that have been drinking Bud Light their whole life, and literally this commercial came out, and there was not enough reaming of the sphincter to allow it to, slide in. So they were just like shut off to it. If you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. So
they just weren't ready.
So I have to believe, and Anheuser-Busch is a big company.
You say it so weird. You're saying it weird. You're just trying not to get like
right. I believe they probably had that focus group. They probably had somebody doing that. You're the number one, and there comes a bit of cockiness when you've held that spot for so long that you say, you know what? I know this might irritate some, right? But as Joe said, is there such thing as bad marketing, right? Any publicity is good publicity.
I mean, in this day and age, they're still getting so much social media.
I think they did their homework. I don't think they anticipated the knee jerk.
That much negative reaction.
Right.
Interesting.
Which really that flushed them. I mean, what did we read like 28% drop in sales. It's huge. They now are in second spot in America. Modelo is the number one,
which is crazy to literally put out one advertisement almost and drop
And Anheuser-Busch and Modelo, please, if you want to sponsor here at 216, just reach out. Info at 216.com. We've really given you a lot of good stuff here today. But I can't believe a corporation that large, right? Because they own like Miller. I mean, they own a ton of stuff. I mean, they're
Yes,
and they're now like a Swedish owned or something, right? Somebody in Europe owns them. So I have to believe that the person who was in charge of this marketing, they had numbers or something, and go, yep, we'll take the risk because it looks like the numbers are going to be great to push us a little bit further. Well, so I don't think they were anticipating the
oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Again, though, I'm going to play it on. If I were them, I would have totally foreseen the future and said, we need to roll this big of a change out slowly.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. There was no slow rollout of that. And that to me is the biggest downfall. It's not the message that they sent out.
Right.
I think a lot of people could be on board with that message. It's the brevity of unto which they rolled it out, right? It was so quick and fast. It was boom, there it is, right?
So, right. So like if we're saying, like we're assuming, we don't know for fact, but we're assuming that percentage dip in sales is directly related to that marketing campaign. But we don't know for fact, but
Correct.
We feel like that's a big part of it. Do you feel like when bigger corporations take that big risky move in their marketing campaign and it hurts them, do you think it hurts them the same way as if a small business owner did that? And do you think you could recover as a small business owner easier or the same pace? Because big corporations have a lot more mouths to feed. So there's a lot more bodies to chop, I guess, if something goes wrong.
I'm going to dial this back to another question I asked.
Can you recover then as a small business owner?
So my question to you is that if you were to do that in your company and make that commercial, do you consider that branding or marketing? And then how do you tie that back? So to me, that commercial was branding. And now you don't associate branding back to any like jobs, right? You just put a percentage. So how does that branding create, like if I'm going to spend $1 million on a commercial and roll it out?
Well, I feel like the commercial, you're expecting to get money back on that commercial though.
But that's branding.
Otherwise you wouldn't
expect
do
no
that.
Money as a small business. So to me, you're now dialing.
Yeah, but me spending 3 cents on a golf tee is much different than me spending $1 million in something.
Well, you're not spending 3 cents. You're spending, okay. That would be like saying a commercial, you're spending $1 on every person.
So I think, to me, right, I think it's easier for a small business to recoup.
100%. Because you're not spending as much money. You're doing the same thing. You're just not spending.
And it's a little easier to pivot, right? It's like, oh, I made a mistake. Yeah. Away you go, right?
I love that. First off, nobody saw your face because that was the best part.
Be like, oopsie poopsie. And I'll just
move on. Let's just, nothing to see here,
okay.
right? Now, but again, I go back to the strategy that Anheuser-Busch had, and the whole thing is, are we now so dependent? Is marketing so dependent on these influencers? Because Dylan is huge following, right? That's why huge following,
right?
And they go, man,
we're riding that train.
If we can put a beer in her hand, hey, watch out.
If we can get on that train, we're in.
But yes, a huge influencer, but maybe not to the drinkers of your product.
Right.
Right.
A majority of them. So
how many of those people that Dylan has fans of are out there drinking a can of beer? Yeah. Or a bottle of beer? So, probably none. Most of them are probably out drinking martinis.
Let's say 15, 20 years ago, there was a man by the name of Donald that everybody, I need a piece of him. Hey, this guy, have him promote you. And now people are like,
I don't want to get on that train.
No, thank you. Right.
there's so much to that that I think a lot of people don't think of. So when you go in and consider doing your marketing, how much do you play into a factor of risk versus reward?
I think
how much do you spend? Safe. You're 100. Well, you're very risk adverse, right? Yeah. Like, you definitely don't want to risk a lot of money and risk a lot of, what would you call that?
I don't like to risk my money, and I don't like to risk my time.
Time, money, or reputation.
To do like something kind of like knee-jerky and risque, like really just doesn't fit in the accounting world. So I don't know.
Which is so funny because what you consider risque might be risque, might not. Well, what you consider not risque might be risque. You handed me a bag of dicks one time.
Yeah, but I know you. It's not like I did that as my marketing campaign. Like, hey, sign up with Steph's bookkeeping service and get a bag of dicks. Like that wasn't, you know, like that.
Exactly what I'm saying.
But like,
Ken's dying right now.
But I'm just saying, like, that wasn't like a marketing tactic.
But no, it was. That's marketing. That's marketing.
I wasn't
branding. You were branding yourself. You branded Steph's, and you sold me on Steph's bookkeeping right then and there.
I wasn't selling you.
That's my kind of bookkeeper.
I wasn't selling you on Steph's bookkeeping in that moment. I was selling you on In the Know with Steph and Joe on the radio.
Right. Either way, you took.
But I know you. And
aggressive stance, and it's different, and I appreciated it.
But I'm just saying, like, I know you. It's not like I just met you like that hour and I came up to you and did that. Like, that would be very weird.
But you probably still would do that if you met me.
To a stranger?
To me?
No.
If you met me out of the blue.
And then just be like, oh, I got this in my car.
I got this bag of dicks.
Come to my car. Come to my car. No, that sounds very dangerous.
I feel like you would. I feel like you would.
Like, I just don't feel like my industry really has that. Like, I feel like the industry that Rich works in with the swimming pools, I feel like you could do a marketing campaign that could either entice a lot of people or turn a lot of people away.
Now,
that industry has that option.
Specific.
I'm gonna side with Joe. I'm for shock and awe, right? That's who I am. Let's throw it out there and get right on the edge. Maybe irritate some people. Right?
I'm gonna cross the edge,
but I'm gonna have my blinker on. You know what I mean?
Everybody knows I'm making.
Yes.
To be honest, I have my hazards on, so everybody just stays behind me, knowing that I could make a left or a right.
I see nothing. I see absolutely nothing wrong with what Bud Light did. Absolutely nothing wrong with what.
100%.
Nothing.
But
they were like, here's a rocket. And just like, it's coming through your window. Right?
They literally lit a bottle rocket out of a tube with no fucking stick on the back of the bottle. They literally broke the. I got so many of those bottle rockets. You break the stick off and you shoot it out of a tube. That sucker comes out the end of the tube. You have no idea where it's going, right? Like, that's what they did.
Yeah.
And that to me is the biggest mistake.
Correct.
That's it.
Correct. All they put the blinker on. You run a few ads that get us there, or even you control your demographic. So we go into a highly populated area in America where LGBTQ is prevalent, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, I got a semi truck. I'm parceling off a little router van, and I'm doing router van in the city, and I'm sending that semi truck the rest of the way out into the suburbs, and I'm running 2 campaigns.
Yes.
Right? Like, so, I am clearly diverting.
So Eric and I enjoy Yingling. Yingling doesn't come past Indiana.
Correct.
You can't get it in Michigan. You can't get it west of Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we get excited when we go east and or, you know, like, get to go get some Yingling, and I'll buy some Yingling and bring it back. Had they done that, you send that van into this area. Now there's these faces going around the community, and people are like, how do I get that? Where do I get that? And it creates demand, right? And then people are like, well, whatever, it's on the can, and they wouldn't have dropped sales, right? Again, they didn't have the blinker on. They're just cutting over 4 lanes of interstate without
Chicago drivers.
And so I love what they do, because that's who I am at heart too. let's punch in the face. Let's get let's
You're
do
making
it.
that 4-lane turn.
Yeah, but I'll have my blinker on though.
Ooh,
So you'll
still
just be
know I'm
extreme with some courtesy.
Yeah, that's right.
extreme with some courtesy.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Very well put. God, I don't know. I still, to me, if you're gonna do that much of a divert and you're gonna make that much of a change, you better find a way to osmosisly divert into two, like asexually split into two cells.
That's what I say. They're
right. Like, you better be splitting on the freeway a mile before the exit, so that way one can easily divert off.
Their concept,
I don't want 4-lane turn. No.
That's what I'm saying. Their concept, their marketing concept, brilliant. Strategy and execution, horrible. That's it.
All right, I got to get out of here. I actually got to run.
You got to run.
No, I have to run. See, bad marketing. What did I learn today? That yes, marketing is something that needs to be approached with a very timely consideration, right? Like, you don't just run in and make that sudden right turn to hit the exit 4 lanes over. Marketing is a timely, slow exit. Right.
I learned that Joe is a reptilian.
Rantillion. Dude, Google it right now. Rantillion. Rantilion. Rantillion. Listen, it's a 16th century man that has a sack that's longer than his rifle. An ammo sack. That's longer than his rifle. What'd you learn?
I don't even know. I don't even know what I learned. I learned that I am
what a Rantillion is.
I guess I learned what that is today. I'm gonna ask Rich about that later. I'll be like,
nobody
you know what
knows
this is?
Nobody knows that.
I have no idea.
Nobody knows that.
I don't think I'd ever heard the word before.
It's because it's from the 16th century. You wouldn't know it unless you grew up in the 16th century, or you're some dude that loves to look up perverse terms and find a use for them in normal everyday language.
Uncle Pete used to just read the dictionary. That was his joy. He was
my dad paid me $100 to read the encyclopedias. It was back in like the early 90s.
Well,
so $100 was quite a bit of money.
When you got them from Dominic's?
Yeah, right.
That's where we got our encyclopedias.
No,
got the
blue
stickers.
We didn't have Dominic's back then. All right.
Yeah, you had the stamps there.
Yeah.
It was either the encyclopedias or the dinnerware.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So that's good stuff. But I as far as marketing gone wrong, it's only gone wrong if you don't get your money, if you can't recoup. If you lose money, that's when I think it goes wrong.
Yeah. I mean, because we're going to be putting together some new things and targeting certain industries and stuff, but we're not making it like public on all platforms. Right. It's very targeted marketing for those very specific industries, which then is going to be more cost effective for us to test them to see if it works.
Yeah, I love it.
But yeah, I don't know. Nope. I would say I'm risk adverse, but I do go over my branding budget because I like to buy tchotchkes, as we all know.
Yes. And that's, to me, it's great too. I mean, that is, all branding is marketing, but not all marketing is branding.
Yes.
Yeah.
But do you think that when there's a marketing gone wrong, you really don't think that it sticks with people like that same way, like when you're a small business owner? Because we're in such a small community. Yeah. And I feel like once your like name or something is tarnished, I feel like it's a lot more difficult to recover, like in the local like thing. But maybe that's just with B2B and not so much B2C.
Yeah, I think that's more B2B. I think B2C is more forgiving, and people, like, oh, that's right, I forgot that you had done that.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't. I go back to as a kid in Iowa, 588-2300 Empire, and people probably thought they did it wrong, but it's stuck in my head still today.
Right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and they bought up other carpeting companies, so now
Right.
they're their own competitor. So
right.
it's
When it comes to a small business, I think that if marketing gone wrong is okay, that I think they look at the person, right? So um, we know businesses that have failed, and the community at large either says, "Yep, it should have," because that person's a jerk, a little narcissist, whatever, or it's too bad they were a good person. Right. So
yeah,
I think a lot of it reflects on the individual. So I think if marketing were to go wrong with you, right? Let's say something happens with Steph's book that goes wrong. I think
really.
people may go, I can't blame her. She probably got bad advice or whatever.
Right.
Right. However, if you're kind of a D bag, you know, um, I'm thinking of a very sexy metal and a protection thing, right? Of a company. And because the individual, a lot of people thought was pompous. Um,
Yeah,
that,
I guess you're right. Even if I had a marketing staff who,
yeah,
as a small business owner, as long as people like me, the person, and they know me and my core values
yeah.
as a person, I should be able to recover from it.
Mm-hmm.
I think when it's a big corporation, I think it's a little bit more difficult because it's not so personal.
Yep.
And it's just more opinion based, I guess,
Yep.
at that point.
Yep.
But yeah. All right. Well, I guess Eli's
We're
ready
done.
to go. We're going to go to the movies.
Hey, all right.
So,
Go see Elemental.
mm-hmm.
Nice. Enjoy that. Listen, folks, come back at 8 p.m. for a new Dream Home Experts. And then in 2 weeks on the 30th, yours truly going to be their guest on the Dream Home Experts. So we'll be looking forward to that. But until then, everybody just keep sharing, keep liking, hang with us, keep us out there, and know that you've been in it with Steph and Joe.